Hello, everyone, and welcome back to GodSaw's Turnbuckle. And it is that time once again. We do have some more predictions, and we do have a pay-per-view coming up. This predictions will be for AEW's Wrestledream. Now, this has been a rather interesting show, just based upon everything that's being set up. You're getting a decent amount of stuff being set up, not just on Dynamite, but also on Collision as well. And also, we're setting up for potential other things, not necessarily leading into Full Gear, but also Blood and Guts on November 12th to go along with it. As of right now, they do have 8 matches on the main card. I think there's about 3 or 4 more matches that are going to be on the the Saturday Tailgate Brawl. Basically, they're hour and a half before the pay-per-view. I think this actually is airing on TNT versus being like the pre-show or the 0 hour or anything like that. I think they do something completely different for the 0 hour at this point, where it's just kind of Renee and everyone sitting in a room kind of talking about the show coming up. But we're not going to go through the Tailgate Brawl matches on this one. We are going to stick to what is on the main AEW Wrestledream card. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Jamie Hayter going up against Thekla. This has been set up for quite some time, especially back when Thekla actually came into the company itself. She attacked Jamie Hayter at that point. When Jamie Hayter did come back, they've been kind of brawling back and forth. This has also been involving Julia Hart and Sky Blue and Queen Aminata as well. And it has had a few other people to go along with that. This is, I feel like this is a match that is finally going to fully set up everything with the challenge that Jamie Hayter put out there for Blood and Guts towards the Trio of Darkness or Trio of Madness. I forget what they call themselves right now, but Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Thekla. Now, I don't know this is going to be like a 5-on-5 or is it going to be like a 3-on-3, 4-on-4, anything in that sense. But I feel like you're finally going to get something a little bit more going into that match because they have kind of put it on the back burner since the challenge has been thrown out there. They kind of make mention to it on commentary every now and again that challenge is there. But they also make mention it hasn't been fully accepted yet either. So I feel like this is going to finally set that up and get them moving forward into Blood and Guts itself. I'm going to go with Thekla to pick up the victory on this one. Mainly because I feel like they're going to have them looking strong going into that particular match. And up next, it is going to be a Trios Tornado Tag match. It is going to be the Hurt Syndicate going up against the Demand. Now, we've seen this match actually a couple times now. You had the initial match over at All Out as well, which was a Trios match, which the Demand, which is the Gates of Agony and Ricochet picking up the victory over the Hurt Syndicate at that point. Then I believe it was just a couple weeks ago on Dynamite, they've had another street fight, which was the Trios match, which the Hurt Syndicate actually picked up the victory on that one. And then, oddly enough, last night as well, the Gates of Agony picked up a victory over Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin in a tag team match, which is an interesting one because that is the first time I believe either Shelton Benjamin or Bobby Lashley have been pinned since joining AEW. It's definitely been the first time as a tag team that they have taken a loss via pinfall in any way, shape, or form in a normal tag team match, not considering the actual trios match as well, where MVP took the fall on that one. Now, just based off of everything that we've seen with this, I do feel like they should probably have the Demand go over in this one, but with them going over on Dynamite itself, I'm actually going to pick the Hurt Syndicate to pick up the victory in this one. I don't know if this continues on the feud or something in that sense, or if it's something that picks up at a later time or anything to go along with that. Hard to really say, but I'm going to go with the Hurt Syndicate for this. And up next is going to have $500,000 on the line. It is going to be the Young Bucks going up against Jurassic Express. Basically, this entire thing has been set up going into All Out, where Jack Perry came back. He is going by Jungle Jack Perry now, and he had revived Luchasaurus. So basically, like what you had seen going into was that All Out as well, wherever it was with Kip Sabian? I forget if that was the case. I think it was also All Out. That match you had with Kip Sabian and Killswitch at that time kind of led to the prelude to revealing that Jungle Jack Perry was the one who revived Luchasaurus. And of course the Young Bucks they're in a spot where they're playing the poor Bucks. Basically after they've lost their EVP status, everything in this sense, they've burned through all their money, everything to go along with that. And they're constantly trying to get in these money matches, where Tony Khan puts $100,000 on the line, $500,000 on the line. They even won one and blew through the money as quickly as possible, with gambling and everything to go along with that. And now they're trying to go that route again. Now again, more on the Jurassic Express side for this, one of the reasons why Jungle Jack Perry is going after the Young Bucks is not he basically says is not an aspect that he hates them. He just didn't like the fact that when he needed them the most, they kind of left him high and dry while he was out and everything to go along with it, never getting in contact with them. So he's going after the Young Bucks now. And I do like the fact that it's not what it used to be with Jurassic Express. It's not necessarily, Jack Perry going back to the loincloth, everything like that, the Jungle Boy thing. The only thing that they brought back is the song. Jack Perry is pretty much as he was beforehand. He's still carrying around knives. He's still kind of unhinged with everything as well. He's not necessarily a full-on babyface or a full-on heel. He's just going after the Young Bucks at this point. So in terms of a winner for this one, I'm going to go with Jurassic Express. They just came back. I know they've had a couple of tag matches on TV, which they have won, but I feel like they're going to go the route of continuing to push them further along. And then it's also going to be a little bit more interesting to see what happens with the Young Bucks and how they're going to continue along with this whole thing with apparently not having money after their EVP statuses. I feel like that's going to go on for a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer they can go with it, but I feel like they'll go a little bit longer with it though. So I'm going to go with Jurassic Express for this. And up next, it's going to be for the TNT title. It is going to be Kyle Fletcher going up against Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe has been going after Kyle Fletcher ever since his feud with MJF, and now MJF is taking some time away. And he's kind of going after another person he's never really been able to beat as well in terms of a one-on-one match. As a matter of fact, they've made mention that this is the 5th match between the two of them. Kyle Fletcher has won all of them so far. They have kind of done a little bit of back and forth, nothing too crazy in terms of the story build itself, but it's more or less playing up as, can Mark Briscoe win a big match yet again? Now he had that big win with MJF at the last pay-per-view at All Out, but can he do it again and win a championship? Personally, I feel like and this is going to be kind of maybe a giveaway for the AEW tag team title match a little bit later, but we'll talk about that here in a brief moment. But I don't feel like this is going to be a bad night for the Don Callis family. I feel like it's going to be a good night for them. They're going to continue on with that before it, with things kind of going their way until things finally start falling apart with this. So I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher to pick up the victory in this one and keep the TNT Championship. And up next, it is going to be for the AEW Tag Team titles. It's going to be Brody King and Bandito, or Brodido, going up against Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. And this is an interesting one here, because you have been having this dynamic between Okada and Takeshita for a while, where they just don't really like each other. You can definitely feel the tensions between the two of them. Don Callis just plays it off like, oh, it's just, you know, top guys being top guy type things. Now, in terms of things leading into this one, I don't feel like you've had too much of a real story build outside of what they've been doing with the tensions between Okada and Takeshita. And honestly, I feel like this run for Brodido is probably going to come to an end in terms of it being being the AEW Tag Team Champions, because I feel like you have to go with Okada and Takeshita to pick up the victory in this one, especially with the factors of Takeshita just actually winning the IWGP World Championship. I just don't see Okada and Takeshita losing here. So soon after that, even if Okada takes the pinfall on it, I don't think that would necessarily be the case. So I am going to go ahead and predict for Okada and Takeshita to pick up the victory here, and they're going to be winning those AEW Tag Team titles. But for how long will they keep them? You know, we'll see how long that actually goes for, because eventually the two of them are going to fight one-on-one at some point in time. Who knows when that's going to actually happen, but I assume tensions are going to keep building down the line. And up next, it's going to be an I Quit match. It's going to be Darby Allin going up against Jon Moxley, and this is going to be intriguing to see where they go with everything, because in terms of an I Quit match, obviously they play off the factor that the person actually has to say the words I quit. Now you would assume that Jon Moxley, that's something he hasn't done, though he has tapped out on 2 occasions, both in Texas Death matches, by the way, for that, with Hangman Adam Page. But Darby Allin is one that doesn't say I quit, and he also doesn't tap out. So it's one of those things, if somebody passes out, you technically don't win here because they've got to say the words to go along with it. So this is going to be an intriguing one. I do like where they've been going with this entire feud. Just the aspect of Darby Allin, again, his never say die, never say quit attitude. But also his beef with Moxley still stemming back to what happened with Bryan Danielson last year at WrestleDream to go along with it, as well. The promo that they did this Wednesday within like that area where it's like a meeting area at a prison where where somebody would be on one side, the other person would be on the other side. You're kind of talking through the glass to go along with it. I thought that promo was just great and fantastic. The story that they built with this has been also really good, and it's going to be an intriguing match to see what actually happens with this one and where do they go with it. The only way I see them possibly having Jon Moxley win this match is that they force Darby to say I quit, in terms of like kidnapping somebody close to him, or like doing something like that, where maybe they threaten harm on Danielson again, or something in that sense. That's the only way that I see them having Darby say I quit, and I don't think they're gonna go that route. I'm gonna go ahead and predict Darby Allin to pick up the victory in this one and make Jon Moxley say I quit. And up next, it is for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's going to be Kris Statlander going up against Toni Storm. And again, this has been actually quite a good build between the two of them. I like the whole aspect that they have built this up, that they've never had a one-on-one match between Toni Storm and Kris Statlander in AEW, despite the amount of time that they've kind of been in AEW as well. So you're kind of getting that aspect of a first-time matchup in terms of a one-on-one. Obviously, there was the fatal four-way where Kris Statlander picked up the title and pinned Toni Storm in that match to pick up the title as well. The promos between the two of them is like, this has actually been some pretty good stuff between the two of them. Obviously, Toni Storm has been a very popular character within AEW for quite some time, has always been quite good with her promos, but this has actually kind of shown how good Kris Statlander is with them as well. She's been kind of going back and forth with Toni Storm, and it's been actually a lot of fun with everything. And it's just one of those things where the two of them, they just kind of look at each other, they respect each other, but they also want to fight each other, because we've had a couple of brawls with them as well, and that's just how it's been going. It's just how it works between the two of them. It's like they want to just fight each other, and well, we're gonna finally get that at Wrestledream itself. In terms of a winner in this one, who will I be predicting? I'm gonna go with Kris Statlander to pick up the victory and keep the AEW Women's Championship, mainly just because she just picked up the title. I don't necessarily see them putting it right back on Toni Storm right after the fact. It's one of those things like, why would you put it on somebody just to have them lose it a month later? I know it's happened before, but I don't think this is one of those situations. So I'm going to go with Kris Statlander. And up next is the main event of the night. It is going to be for the AEW Men's World Championship. It's going to be Hangman Adam Page going up against Samoa Joe. This has been a very simple setup, and honestly a very effective one as well, for a reason for these two to have a match. The whole aspect that Samoa Joe got really pissed off during the trios match where Hangman Adam Page got the tag from Powerhouse Hobbs, and also basically shoved the trios title into Samoa Joe's chest when he wasn't ready, forcing it to fall to the ground. He took it as a very disrespectful thing and decided to go after Hangman Page. But also Hangman Page is like, you want a world title match? Honestly, you deserve a world title match based off of the fact that you helped me in with the Death Riders. Also, he's a former world champion. Really didn't get didn't get a full rematch for the AEW Men's Championship as well, and that's kind of where they've gone with it. This is kind of standard fare in terms of them cutting their promos and everything, in the sense of both of them being really good at it and going after each other with everything. In terms of a prediction for this one, I've got to go with Hangman Adam Page here to pick up the victory. I don't see them putting the title back on Samoa Joe, because they are still doing everything with the AEW Trios titles at this point. If they had lost them beforehand, then I may have thought a little bit differently. But also, I don't see Hangman's world title run being a very short title run, much like his first one was with everything as well. So I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page for this. And that is basically everything for AEW's Wrestledream. If you do have your own predictions, feel free to leave those predictions down below in the comments if you are still watching. If you're also still watching, feel free to subscribe to the channel, share the video if you so wish as well, and leave a like on the video. And with that being said, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.